Hey everyone, it's Nate here with Element Van Life. I just wanted to do my Tuesday Q&A video. I do these every other Tuesday. The way it works, just post your questions in the comment section below and I will answer them in the next one. The next one will be on April 4th. It'll be in April, on April 4th. Let's get started, guys. We got a lot of great questions to go over this week. First one comes from Hong Shi. They say, great video as always. Thank you for your upcoming Q&A. Could you please show us your camera setup and explain what you have found the most useful feature of each camera? Okay, so I only have 3 cameras, I guess. So I use the one that I obviously can't show you guys because I'm using it right now, but it's the just the LG G4. It's a smartphone, and I shoot on that, and that's what I'm doing here. I've got a little microphone here, which I'm sure you can see that I use, a little lapel microphone, and that's pretty much it. And then I have a GoPro Hero 3 Plus Silver Edition. Small little GoPro. That's what I use for the dash shots when I'm driving around. I also use it for other random things in the ocean and stuff when I was surfing, things like that. Can pretty much do a lot with the GoPro, and that's pretty much it. And then I have the drone, which is a DJI Phantom 3 standard 2.7K camera drone, and that's all that I'm using right now. At some point I do want to get a DSLR. It's on the radar. I just don't know when it's going to happen. I have to try to save up for it and get ready to make it because they are pretty expensive. Number 2, could you please show us the drone? Okay, so now you're asking about the drone there. So maybe a small tutorial on how you fly it. It is amazing footage and seems to really fly far away. Yeah, it does. It can extend a pretty good distance to get away before it goes out of range, and when it does, it just comes back to you anyways, so it's pretty nice. Like I said, it's the DJI Phantom 3 standard. I have a video about it that I actually made, and I'll try to put a link to it at the end of the video here, but if you just search for it on my channel, it's like the only one that's it's like a review style video, kind of, where I unboxed it. I think it's called like DJI Phantom 3 unboxing or something like that, and I go into a lot of detail about a lot of those questions there. Number 3, I remember where you decided to customize your Honda Element, but I was wondering if you ever gave serious consideration to a Honda Odyssey. If you have yeah, so in terms of the Odyssey, like this model year, Odyssey 2003, 2002 area, I know they had a lot of issues with like the transmissions, and there were a lot of mechanical problems with them, so I didn't really think about getting one for this age. And then as you get newer, they were just, at the time, they were just too expensive. I mean, they're definitely worth considering. I think I prefer the Toyota Sienna, actually, in terms of a minivan, though, to the Odyssey for a lot of those reasons that I just said. But either way, I mean, a Honda Odyssey is still a solid vehicle, and as long as you don't get, I forget exactly what year it is, but there's a couple that have a lot of transmission issues, but as long as you avoid those model years, you should be fine with that as well. Next question comes from Jerry Pitchford. Would you prefer to cook more rather than eat out? Yeah, definitely. I do eat out a lot, and it is a little bit expensive, but you know, I think when I'm on the road more and stuff like that, I'll have a little bit more time to kind of just cook. But the thing is, like I said, I've mentioned this before, cooking takes a lot of time, especially for me. So like I have to like go to a place and set up and kind of, so it gets to be a little bit of a pain. But I would like to cook, to cook a little bit more, definitely. Depose has the next question here. Have you ever read or watched Into the Wild? If not, I think yeah, I have. I'll save you there, at that point. But I'm a big fan of it. I've seen it. I've seen the video a few times, and I've read it as well. It's the book. It's yeah, it's a definitely very, very interesting story. Definitely a great story. Apple Lysol, why do so many camper conversion people choose the Element instead of the Honda Pilot? Is the Element better in some way? How much space do you have from the back of the car to the front seats? 7 feet. So from the back of the vehicle, like this window, to the front dash, like where the steering wheel is, I think it's like just about 8 feet actually. I measured it once before. Like I guess from like this windshield maybe to this window to the windshield up front, I think it's just about 8 feet. And then like from here to the seats when they're all the way forward, it produces 6 feet of space, which is, or a little over 6 feet, which is enough to have a bed. I don't really know why people choose this over the Pilot. The reason that I would choose this over like a Highlander or a Pilot is just because there is more cubic cargo space in here. From floor to ceiling, there's more headroom in here, and then as compared to a Pilot, I think, and in a Highlander. And then also the Highlander is, I think part of that is because it's a little bit higher above the ground. There's a little bit less ground clearance with the Element, which allows for there to be more headroom inside the cab. So I think that's probably part of it. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, you could definitely make an awesome camper out of a Pilot or a Highlander as well, definitely. Next question comes from Young Chung. They say, Nate, I enjoy your videos. Thank you. I hope to continue watching them. Do you see yourself continuing this lifestyle in, say, 5 years? That's tough to say. You know, exactly the same lifestyle, probably not. I mean, I can't imagine the Element will go 5 more years, 200,000 more miles. I guess you never know. It's possible, you know, who knows. But I could maybe see myself in a bigger van or an RV, or maybe in like a tiny house somewhere, or just traveling internationally full time. There's a lot of things I could see. Definitely the same kind of lifestyle, you know, mentality, I guess, where I want to be nomadic and be living minimally, but at the same time, maybe not exactly the same. Minimalist moto life. Okay, here's the question that might be inappropriate. Of your total expenses, how much of it is the Element? Insurance, that's not inappropriate at all. It's a good question. In terms of insurance, maintenance, fuel, repairs. Okay, so I actually have an expense spreadsheet here. In terms of like the maintenance that I've spent on this and all that in the last year, I don't know. I'm seeing a couple big ones. I replaced the 3rd gear transmission sensor back in July, and then I had obviously the issue with the starter. Those make up the biggest, most expensive things. I mean, that all together, maintenance, repairs, somewhere around a little over $1,000 this past year, which is a lot. I mean, that's a lot of money, but I did get ripped off on the starter, so that's probably part of the problem. Either way, though, you know, maintenance, I don't really like budget a specific monthly amount for maintenance. I just kind of, you know, I have like a miscellaneous amount that I'll use and apply to that if I need to, if that makes any sense. And then I also have savings that I can pull from if I need to, if I get into some sort of an issue with it. But overall, in terms of like insurance and fuel, I mean, that's a few $100s a month at the most, you know. It's just the big repairs that kind of come out of nowhere that could be a problem. But I try to stay on top of those as much as I can to avoid that happening. Michael Peterson Jr. Nate, if you have any questions about your Element, you can always go to Very Nice Guy, Jason Richmond. Okay, yeah, definitely. All over social media. I'll definitely look them up. Thank you for the suggestion. When will you come to Central New York during your travels? I'm not really sure. Best to come during the summer. Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't want to be there. This time of year, or even, you know, earlier in the wintertime. But yeah, Central New York is beautiful. I've been to like upstate, like Albany and Saratoga quite a few times before, and I've really enjoyed being in that area, Saratoga Springs. But I don't know, at some point I would like to explore that area, because I've never been to like Buffalo or Syracuse or anywhere else, really, Rochester, anywhere else in upstate New York, so I'd like to check that out. My collection of video games. Since you stayed in San Diego during the summer, did you eat a lot of Mexican food? And if you did you try the California burrito? I did eat some Mexican food, not enough really, and I did try the California burrito one time. It was really good. Definitely delicious. But I liked like the carnitas ones more, so I got those more frequently. But I did try it though. Downhill and deadlifts. Hi Nate, really enjoy your channel early. Next year, my girlfriend and I will be moving from Pittsburgh to just north of San Diego. Right on. Thanks to your channel, I've decided to purchase an Element to move. Right on. Cool. If not, so let's see what your question is here. I have a few questions. First, have you had any issues with mold in the vehicle due to overnight condensation? And do you have anything in place to fight it? So I don't really know if I've had issues with mold. That might sound kind of silly, but like I feel like there could definitely be mold underneath and like in certain places, you know, that I just like am not really looking for. It's tough to say. Every time I see like a black stain on the wood somewhere, I'm like, was that already there? Was that not already there? You know, that kind of thing. But I don't think it's been too bad. I'm not really doing anything to fight it though. I feel like there are options and things that I should do. I just haven't really done much to fight condensation yet. Second, do you feel as though having an out-of-state license plate warrants any unwanted attention from police and security? It's possible, definitely. When I was in California, that it did. I mean, I never really had any issues with police or security when I was there, but you know, it's definitely possible that it could warrant some unwanted attention. I can't really pinpoint a specific time that it happened, but I've heard of it happening, and I know that it's a thing that happens, so it's definitely possible. I never got pulled over just for having like Louisiana plates though when I was there, and I never really had any issues. Alto Same, next question here. Thanks for the inspiration. I'm a fellow Element owner with 155,000 miles. Right on. So far I've been lucky, no real problems. What kind of tools do you have to keep for car maintenance, if any? So yeah, I have like a metric socket wrench set. What else do I have? I have like a little tool kit as well with some other tools in there, and that's pretty much pretty much it. Not really too much. I do have an OBD2 reader as well, now that you mentioned that, but that's it though. I don't even really have like jack stands or anything like that. It's something I want to get at some point, but yeah, I really don't. And want to buy a magnetic tip screwdriver, yeah. Yeah, I don't think you're really missing too much. I mean, yeah, having like jack stands obviously would be good, but I mean, really, you just need like good wrenches, a good toolkit, so you can kind of get in there and break things down, and that's pretty much all that I have. Do you have a battery charger for starter cables? I do have a jumper pack. It's like an actual little jumper pack as well, which I can use to jump. It's really easy. I can just charge it up and then I just store it underneath here, and if I need it, I can use it. I've used it before, but not on my vehicle, on other people's, like random people that I ran into. James Stevens, hey Nate, just discovered your channel, love the videos, really enjoy the journey you're on. Right on, thanks man. MX Lack says, are you thinking of buying a bigger or better van? Not right now, no, but at some point in the future, yeah, that's definitely in the cards for sure. Like maybe like a Class B, like an older Class B that's already converted, or just like a Ford E350 or something like that, which I'll convert into a camper van myself. Akil Bola says, Nate, did you use to stay in a house or apartment? Yes, yeah, I lived in an apartment for a long time before this. Jay Brett, ever consider circumnavigating the Great Lakes during a summer? You might enjoy the many underpopulated areas of Great Lakes are so unique and cool. Inland oceans. That sounds really, really awesome. I don't know if I could be that close to like an ocean-like environment without surfing though. And in the summer, the Great Lakes, like you can't really surf the Great Lakes in the summer. You can in the winter, but not really in the summer. So I don't know if I would. I don't know if I would want to do that for too long. But visiting for a little while, definitely something on the radar for sure. JPDST29, addicted to your channel, bro. Thanks. In the beginning, did you ever contemplate quitting van life and going back to your old way of living? How long did it take for you to be completely comfortable with van life? I never really considered quitting it at any point. I think for me, like, the idea of possibly quitting van life is kind of like giving up on my dreams to an extent. Not necessarily because I want to live in a van for the rest of my life or anything like that, but more so because it kind of, I guess, to me symbolizes like being free and being able to live like, nomadically, I guess, and make money remotely, and that's kind of what I've been working towards for a long time. So I don't think I've ever really contemplated giving up on it 100%. To get comfortable with it was actually pretty quick. It really didn't take that long. I've always been comfortable being in like small spaces and stuff like that, so I think maybe that helped a little bit. But yeah, I mean, in terms of like sleeping in the van and stuff like that, it took like maybe a week or so for me to get really, really comfortable with it and sleep well throughout the night, and I haven't really had too many troubles since then. Next question comes from Adam, telling me, if you could live rent-free in an apartment, would you take that over the Element? No, absolutely not. Not if I had to stay in that one apartment, in that one area for a long or extended period of time. I mean, would I take having an apartment for free for convenience sake, like in the area that I'm in, like wherever I am? I mean, that would be kind of cool, I guess. But I don't know. I like the idea of living in the Element. I like being able to move around. I don't think I would take that. MFS Lick says, curious about how many miles you have on your Element. It's 132,000 as of like yesterday. I have a 2005 Element, 250,000, so I'm not sure if it's worth building a similar setup. Yeah, I don't know. A 250 is high. I guess it depends on the maintenance that's been done and if it's been taken care of in the past and stuff like that. I've heard of Elements going to 350, 400,000 miles, many times. Many times people have said that to me. So, who knows? Maybe it is. That's up to you. Jim Jones 999 says, I'm in New Orleans. Would really like to check out your setup. Yeah, just shoot me a message or an email. If you go to my website, there's a link to my email address on there. Just send me an email and we can try to meet up at some point. 4Cow Films question. I know this would be hard, but how many states have you been in with the Element? That's a good question. I don't know the exact number. I can tell you the states I haven't been to: Kentucky, Michigan, Wisconsin, Nevada, Utah, Alaska, Hawaii. Those are the states I haven't been to. I've been to all the other ones, and most of them have been in the Element. Simon Humphreys, how much do you spend at Starbucks a month? Do you find you spend more eating out, coffee, etc., due to your lifestyle? Yeah, I definitely eat out more. I don't know if it's due to my lifestyle. I think more of it's just due to the fact that I'm too lazy to cook every night. That's probably part of it, and then also because I'm here in New Orleans and there's just really good food all the time everywhere, so it's tough to not eat out. But at Starbucks, I probably spend too much money, like somewhere between like $40 and $50 a month at Starbucks. But I book it at like my internet bill, I guess, and I kind of treat it like that, and it works out. And I also get coffee in addition to internet, so it's kind of nice. Or food. Ainan Mason, have you ever thought about converting a decommissioned ambulance? That's a good question. I've definitely thought of it before. I don't know. They're kind of hard to find, and then they have like the decals on the side, so like you gotta like remove those. But I mean, I think it's definitely a viable option. I've definitely seen some really cool conversions in ambulances before. It seems like it's definitely something that could be done. Definitely, I'm not opposed to it. If I found an affordable ambulance that was in really good shape and didn't have a bunch of decals, or if I could remove all the decals and make it more stealthy, I think that it would be pretty cool. Gioni, Utah, when you eat out, where do you mainly go eat? I usually don't eat out at like anywhere too expensive. I just try to keep it relatively affordable, like in like the $10 to $20 range maximum, sometimes cheaper, like going to like Subway or like Chipotle and stuff like that. And ideally, if I can get 2 meals out of it, that's like the best thing to do, because I can eat half of it, you know, on the spot, and then have half for tomorrow or something like that, and then I basically have 2 dinners taken care of for 2 days in a row. Ruby, I'm a Starbucks regular, so I have to ask, what do you drink there? I sure hope you're using the Starbucks rewards program if you're there a lot. I do have a rewards card. I'm a gold member. I got it when I first started, you know, going to Starbucks. Like I think it was like right when they first started the program as well. But I've had it like ever since then, and it's definitely good. I get a lot of free stuff because of that, so it's nice. Normally if I drink it, I usually eat more often than not. Actually, I'm not a huge coffee drinker, but when I do get coffee, I usually get like a tall iced coffee with like usually some milk in it. It's usually how I do it. Sometimes I put the classic sweetener in there, and it's pretty good. But usually I just get food. I more often than not will get like a croissant or a bagel or something like that. YR, what was your worst experience living in the van? Probably when I got the staph infection back when I was in California. That was not fun to deal with. Caden Beeks, what is your favorite baseball team? And he also looks like they also said, I want to know, where is your favorite place to travel? So my favorite baseball team is the Boston Red Sox. I'm a Boston sports fan, except for my random Cleveland Browns fanhood. And then in terms of my favorite place to travel, I'd say probably my favorite place that I've been to was Glacier National Park, without question. But I don't know, maybe also California is on that list as well. I want to go back to both of those places, as well as see a lot of other new places. But Glacier is probably my favorite place that I've been to so far. Jesse Stafford, if I can ask, if you don't mind, how old are you? I'm in my late 20s. Brendan Corbin, hey Nate, can you do more daily vlogs? I would really like to do more daily vlogs. It's just kind of tough because those are the ones that take the most amount of time. I really do enjoy it though, because I can be a little bit more creative with them and stuff. When I hit the road again, I'm going to be doing a lot more of those in the future, definitely. A Provoked Man 94, would you ever come to Maryland? Yeah, definitely. I haven't really spent a lot of time in Maryland, so I don't really know too much about it. I mean, DC isn't technically in Maryland, but I do enjoy going to DC, and I would love to go back there at some point. And then I've never really been to like Baltimore or anything like that, so definitely something I would want to explore. Catherine Cook, love your videos as always. Enjoy your life. Either YouTubers. My question is, could you have a girlfriend that lives her life in a van too? Yeah, I don't see why not. You could travel together, maybe not now, but at some point in the future. Yeah, I don't see why not. That would be pretty cool. Tyler Banks, for the solar panel cable, is the sunroof always open, or did you close it over the cable? I close it over the cable. I don't leave the sunroof open. It hasn't caused any problems so far. It seems to fit in there really well, and it works out really well. Regina S. Nate, how does your family feel about you traveling in the element? They're a little bit more open to it now. I mean, I don't think they support it in any way whatsoever, but they talk to me and stuff like that, and they're like okay with it, you know, or maybe not okay with it. It's kind of tough to say, but they're more okay with it now than they were a year ago. So that's definitely true. Vox82, Nate, stumbled across your channel, never knew about van life, watched almost all your videos, interesting guy, I like how you narrate. Thank you. Question, is there anything that that you would change with your current setup or you can improve upon? Yeah, I think so. And if the element were to crap out, would you do at that point? I'd probably get another van at that point, almost definitely. I have some savings ready, so, you know, if that happens, hopefully it doesn't happen. But if it does, yeah, I'd probably just get another van and convert that. In terms of improvements that I could make to this, I mean, I'm not going to make them, I don't think, but I would love to have a little bit more counter space in here so that I could cook in here a little bit easier. So I've thought about that. Maybe getting rid of the closet and moving this back a little bit so that I could have that room for the counter space. I've thought of that before. Also, maybe putting on another solar panel on the roof, or increasing my solar power so that I can have a little bit more power would be a good thing as well. But those are not really like necessary things or anything like that, so I'm probably not going to do them at any point in the future. But maybe come next winter, I'll try to upgrade solar if I'm still in the element. Next one comes from Capex. They say, do you ever get lonely? Have you ever thought about getting a pet, and if so, what kind? I have thought about getting like a small dog or something like that. I don't really think that it would work, though. It wouldn't really be fair here in the element, and I'm never really here like hanging out, so you gotta worry. Like, I'm always all over the place, so it's tough. I don't think that having a pet would work. In terms of getting lonely, no, not really. I don't typically get lonely. I mean, I'm relatively introverted. I know I've mentioned this before, but you know, it's not really too much of an issue for me. I mean, yeah, sometimes if I'm feeling lonely and I'm on the road or something like that, I'll pick up the phone and, you know, call some friends and try to catch up with people. But for the most part, though, not really too often. I mean, sometimes definitely, but it's not something like, I'm not like lonely all the time. It's not something that, like, you know, runs my life or anything like that. So that sums it up, guys. That's all the questions for this week. As always, you know, if you have questions, post them below and I will answer them, obviously, in the next one. The next one, like I said, will be on April 4th. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll talk to you all in the next video.